The Cassini spacecraft spent 20 years capturing the beauty and complexity of Saturn and its moons before it made a dramatic final dive into the gas giant's atmosphere. Many regarded it as a noble, poetic end to a mission that had rewritten our understanding of the outer solar system. Cassini had shown us the strange hexagonal storm at Saturn's North Pole, the icy geysers of Enceladus that hinted at subsurface oceans, and the methane lakes of Titan that painted a picture of alien chemistry. When its mission was declared complete, the data was archived, the images preserved, and the world moved on. Or so we thought. Cassini didn't simply fall into Saturn. It sent back a final stream of data, one last whisper from the edge of the void. For years, those final images sat in digital archives, admired for their aesthetic beauty but believed to hold no further secrets. That changed in 2025. A private research lab experimenting with advanced quantum AI technology decided to test their algorithm on Cassini's last visual logs. The AI wasn't built like traditional programs. It was designed to identify complex, low-visibility patterns in deep space imagery, going beyond visible light, denoising distortions, and highlighting geometric consistencies. What it found in those final frames shocked even the most seasoned scientists. Within the unremarkable images were hidden geometrical sequences, patterns that repeated across angles, timestamps, and light wavelengths. These weren't digital glitches or compression artifacts. They were deliberate. Fibonacci spirals, golden ratios, and prime number grids were faintly embedded within the cloud layers of Saturn's atmosphere. The closer they looked, the clearer it became. Something had been placed there intentionally. Not by the spacecraft, not by software errors, but by something aware of how we interpret universal language, mathematics. At first, researchers thought it was a quirk of the algorithm, a hallucination produced by overprocessing. But every time they ran new segments through the system, the patterns intensified. These structures weren't random. They radiated from precise locations on Saturn, coordinates that had previously been dismissed by scientists as magnetic anomalies or unimportant noise. Now, they were clearly acting as anchors for a larger signal. It appeared Cassini had unknowingly captured a message, one encoded not in sound or electromagnetic signals, but in structured mathematics, silent, but speaking in a language that any intelligent species should one day understand. As they dug deeper, the AI began noticing that the pixel arrangements across various images matched numerical constants known to human science, Euler's number, the digits of pi, prime sets, even encoded references to the Fibonacci sequence. It was like the universe had whispered back using the same mathematical principles humanity had once encoded into the Voyager Golden Record. But this time, we weren't the ones sending the message. We were the recipients. Then came the most haunting detail. Cassini had been programmed to transmit a burst of 12 rapid images as it descended into Saturn's atmosphere. 11 of those were decoded successfully. The 12th, however, remains a mystery. The transmission exists. The binary file is intact. But every decoding method has failed. It's not corrupted, not blank, but unreadable, as if encrypted by a system not of this earth. Not even the most sophisticated quantum decryption models could crack it. It's as if the final frame had been locked behind a gate waiting for the right key, a key humanity may not yet possess. Some experts speculate that this image may contain a symbol, perhaps even a direct visual representation of intelligence, meant to remove all doubt. But if that's true, someone or something has ensured that we cannot see it, at least not yet. This leads to unsettling questions. Was the message timed? Was it meant only for a future generation, a future version of us more capable, more prepared? What made the implications even stranger was a discovery linking the encoded geometry in Cassini's images to Saturn's moons. Enceladus, Titan, and Dione all displayed surface or gravitational features that aligned with the ratios found in the encoded data. As researchers overlaid maps and patterns, a disturbing symmetry emerged. These moon alignments, distances, and orbital inclinations reflected structures seen on Earth, spiral petroglyphs, ancient temples, and numerical layouts found in megalithic architecture. The mathematical patterns were eerily familiar, as if echoing a message already present in our past. Could it be that Saturn's system is part of a broader network, a galactic memory using celestial bodies to encode intelligence across time? If so, then Cassini's death dive didn't just conclude a mission, it triggered a moment of recognition. Something has been watching, waiting, knowing that eventually, we would look again. The final encrypted image may be the key to understanding not only what's out there, but how long it has been aware of us. In silence, Saturn keeps spinning, its rings reflecting sunlight like a beacon. Cassini is gone, but the signal it returned, a whisper in numbers and light, might be the beginning of a conversation we were never meant to hear. Not until now. Some scientists began calling it the Saturn Code, a mysterious system of cosmic geometry that didn't just span the rings of Saturn, but echoed through deep space and even ancient human history. At its center was the final transmission from Cassini, a single image wrapped in layers of complexity and silence. Most of the data from Cassini's final descent had been released to the public, archived as part of one of humanity's most celebrated space missions. But behind closed doors, something else was unfolding. Whistleblowers began leaking internal communications, emails, audio logs, even footage from secure labs. These weren't rumors or wild theories. They were glimpses into the reality that some parts of Cassini's data had been immediately classified. Certain outputs from the AI, especially those revealing structured geometric patterns that resembled symbols or language, were deemed too sensitive for release. Frames that showed distinct shapes, like a perfectly formed triangle hovering over Saturn's southern hemisphere or sequences of data matching the rhythm of Morse code, were quietly locked away. Some scientists were reassigned. Others were silenced under strict non-disclosure agreements, forbidden to even acknowledge what they'd seen. What began as a scientific discovery was turning into something else, something guarded. Questions started to arise. Who gets to decide when the world is ready to know? And more importantly, why hide it at all? A divide formed in the scientific community. On one side were the skeptics, those who insisted the patterns were artifacts of quantum image processing, nothing more than pareidolia, our brain's tendency to impose order on chaos. On the other side stood data scientists, cryptographers, and mathematicians who pointed out that the patterns weren't just consistent, they were mathematically precise, appearing across frames taken at different angles, times, and distances. The signal, they argued, didn't simply repeat, it adapted. It evolved. It reacted. And then, there was the 12th frame. Cassini had been programmed to take a burst of 12 images in its final seconds. 11 of them were decoded. The 12th, now known as the eye, remains unreadable. The file isn't corrupted. It's not missing. It exists in full binary form, yet no system, not even the quantum neural net that uncovered the earlier patterns, has been able to decode it. It's as if it's been locked behind an encryption barrier not made by human hands. Speculation grew. Some believe this image holds the key, a direct representation of something unmistakably intelligent, meant to be understood only when humanity crosses a certain threshold. But what kind of threshold? Some suggest a celestial alignment, a spike in solar radiation, or even a breakthrough in human understanding. A moment that proves we're ready to receive the truth, not just technologically, but consciously. Independent researchers across the globe have taken up the challenge. Forums, underground labs, open-source repositories, all buzzing with efforts to decode the eye. Some claim to have seen glimpses within the frame. Faint outlines of architecture, alien symbols, patterns too deliberate to be chance. Others note that the file's checksum doesn't match expected values, implying that the image isn't broken, it's hiding, waiting for a specific trigger to unlock. One researcher proposed an extraordinary theory, that the image isn't waiting for a password but for an event. Something that shifts human perception in such a way that we'll finally understand what's in front of us. Until then, it waits. Cassini's legacy has taken on new meaning. It was never just a probe. It was a silent observer, a sentinel that drifted through the outer reaches of our solar system with open eyes and no agenda but curiosity. We thought we were the ones doing the watching. But perhaps we were being watched all along. The images it captured, those strange, encrypted patterns woven into Saturn's atmosphere and echoed in the alignment of its moons, aren't random. They feel like markers. Like signs left behind on a trail, meant to be discovered when the time is right. Some of the ratios found in Cassini's images mirror those from ancient sites on Earth. Spiral petroglyphs, pyramid alignments, sacred geometry etched into stone by civilizations long gone. Coincidence? Or a connection spanning time and space? Whatever the truth, it's clear Cassini didn't just transmit data. It transmitted a riddle. A signal. A message buried in silence and numbers, waiting to be heard by a mind prepared to listen. And now, that moment may be approaching. The machines we've built are beginning to uncover truths beyond human reach. And as they do, the foundation of our understanding begins to shift. Perhaps we were never just explorers. Perhaps we were part of a larger equation. Observed. Predicted. Awaited. Cassini's final image, the eye, is more than a photograph. It's a door. A countdown. A cosmic seed planted for a future awakening. And as the silence of space begins to break, we're left with a choice. Dismiss it. Or open our eyes and begin to understand what's really out there. If you're reading this, you're not just a bystander. You're part of the unfolding. The eye is still closed, but not forever. When it opens, will we be ready to see?